Hey there, Dynamaniacs. Before we jump into our episode, Garrett and I have a small announcement to make. Starting technically with our next episode, but in 2 weeks, we're going to be a bi-weekly podcast. So you'll get an episode every other week. We are doing this to make sure that our quality stays high.
And you know what? This is for us to get to know you. So we're going to spend this time with more outreach. What?
I just picture you like cuddling with a listener, breathing on the nape of their neck. And I don't think they want that or signed up for that.
I don't know. Do we want to make that a Patreon tier? Is this like OnlyFans?
I don't think so. Part of the reason for this decision is this podcast has opened some doors for us. Starting April 6th, you will actually be able to watch me on a Twitch stream hosting the 15th annual Robo Games tournament, which I'm very excited for. It is a lot of work. It's going to be eating some of my attention for the next several weeks.
Basically, so like your mouth's going for 4 days straight. Interviews, commentary, everything.
Why do you have to phrase it in my mouth? Just phrase it any other way and it's okay.
Don't you love how I phrase things?
No, it's horrifying. But yes,
yeah.
I will be adding the color commentary to robot fighting. You'll be able to watch those on Twitch. I am greatly honored to be able to do it, but in the meantime, we want to keep the podcast to the standard that we have it as, and I think the consensus we reached on that is going to every other week will be beneficial for just in every way.
You're going to get stronger content. We're going to take this time, maybe even go video.
Yeah, we're going to experiment with the possibility of having a video element to every episode. But if you're really jonesing for our content, I promise our older episodes still hold up well. And more importantly, we do have a Patreon that you can go check out, get a bonus episode every month. I'm having a lot of fun with those episodes. They're good ones.
They're good. They're very strong.
Yeah. So, on to the episode. Hello, and welcome back to the Fine Dining Podcast, the search for the most mediocre restaurant in America. I'm your host, Michael Ornelas.
And I'm your host, Garrett Zwerk.
And this is a podcast where we're looking at, not the finest of dining, but fine dining.
Yeah, not the worst, but the mid as hell.
Yeah, we're going to all those chain restaurants that you grew up with, and we're going to find you that perfect 5.00 out of 10 experience.
Because we are experts in mediocrity.
We are, and we want you to just know. We want you to have a point of comparison of what's good, what's bad, what's right in the middle. That
guys,
litmus test.
We want to pull you down to our level.
Now, this week we brought in a guest, someone who, well, comedically, they're a little bit more than mediocre, and we're going to say that at the beginning of the podcast so that if they fall flat, they feel really bad. He recently guest starred opposite Wanda Sykes on the Upshaws. He'll be seen soon in an upcoming Coming to Las Vegas ad, and he crushes at stand-up comedy all around LA. I saw him recently, and I was laughing my ass off. And so I was like, hey, you want to come on the podcast? Give it up. Give it up. What are you, at home listening to a podcast? But welcome, Casey Adler.
Woo!
Yeah, you can talk now.
Yeah. Hey, Casey. That's actually not how it went. Remember, we were eating tacos at Guisados, and I said, oh, I want to be on your podcast. You didn't even invite me.
Isn't that better for us? Like, you're like, hey, I want to be part of your product.
Exactly.
That's a compliment.
I said, I want to be a part of whatever you're doing. I don't even care
You
what it
didn't even
is.
ask what it was.
Yeah.
Do you have a pod breath? I don't know.
Pod breath.
Don't you have pod breath? I do have pod breath. I also have butter breath.
Ooh.
Oh, God. We went to Red Lobster.
I have butter stomach and butter bowels.
I have butter skin.
I'm sweating butter.
And it is, how many days later? When did we go? Sunday?
Saturday night.
We went Saturday night.
night.
It is now Monday approaching evening. And we're still feeling like we're journaling, like hour 48. The lobster still crawls through me.
The last 2 days have been a horror show. Do you remember the end of Apocalypse Now when Marlon Brando is saying the horror? It wasn't the Vietnam War.
It was the butter.
He just went to Red Lobster.
Oh, I was thinking the scene where his head is popped up out of the water, but instead it's butter. Yeah, we went to Red Lobster. It was a buttery nightmare, and I'm going to do something unprecedented. And before we even dive into the podcast, I'm going to give out this week's This Is Way Too Much award to the butter on everything at Red Lobster.
This is
AMC theaters everywhere
are jealous,
jealous
of what Red Lobster has to offer. Yeah, Red Lobster, your butter is just, in fact, way too much. So we're going to jump into Red Lobster. We're going to rate it by its atmosphere, its service, and its food.
Fine dining party of 3.
Our table is ready. We'll be right back.
Your table is ready, follow me. Have you tried our chicken breast? Serving pancakes and ribs, I recommend the spaghetti. We're here to satisfy, not to impress. Your table is ready, complimentary butter and bread. These walls have road signs, knick-knack, cowboy hat, good luck cat, autographed guitar, some crap from your city. Behold the tchotchke of mediocrity. Fine dining, just fine dining, fine dining. 2 letters on the sign are shining, neon flickering, irregular timing. Identify the perfect 5 out of 10. Fine dining, fine dining.
First impressions.
This place looked like all the other Red Lobsters.
This place looks like it's just from Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's got that blue siding.
Big brown painted building with like the white outline around the windows and stuff. You know about architecture, right, Casey? Tell me all you know about it.
The entire time I was just thinking about the architecture of this place. In my first impressions, I noticed that it was surrounded by a Chili's, an IHOP, a Jinkies, and a Chevron attached to a 24-hour Mexican grill.
There's
and
a Cold Stone too.
But the 24-hour Mexican grill was connected to the car wash.
To the Chevron, yeah.
To the Chevron car wash.
Yeah, no, I noticed that on the way out. I was just like, oh, that's not a separate establishment. That's just like...
That was our view.
We sell out of the inside of a gas station. And then we walk inside, and of course, there's a lobster tank right there.
And this is a preview of our entire experience. It's kind of sad. The lobsters are just grouped up into 2 corners,
in like
piled
a
on
defense
top
mechanism.
of each other.
Yeah.
The water is murky. No one's having a good time. They're not even moving.
They've seen their friends come and go. Well, just go.
Yeah.
It made me think of like when I was a kid, you go to the lobster tanks and you're like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah.
And now, as an adult scrounging for my existence, it just made me think of like...
You see everyone dropping around.
Yeah. They're the taped hands. They have taped hands?
There's no mercy. It is a ruthless practice.
Oh, hey, you know there's that TV show where the crazy redneck dudes go elbow deep into mud holes and grab catfish?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
It's also...
Well, that even takes more skill. Like, this is just tape their claws. They won't put up a fight.
It is similar to like trophy hunters who go to Africa and they pay for big game, but they're
in
like,
reserve.
They're
Preserves.
usually the preserves, but they're preserves.
Preserves. Is it a jam?
Is it a jam?
Is it a jelly?
But usually they're disabled in some kind. They're diseased and disabled.
So the hunters are diseased and disabled.
They're like, oh, look what I had the skill to like conquer.
Right.
And it's just like this
It's
lame
a tired,
lioness
slain rhino
with like barnacles on its horn, and it's like, how do you even have that? You're not an underwater creature. Yeah, and then there's no wait. We go in, it's a Saturday night.
Yeah, like 50% capacity.
No wait.
I did like the stage, the 2-step.
Yeah, just a couple
onto
of steps.
the stage. That felt a little fancy, and I appreciated that as an actor.
Yeah, as an actor. Wow, you dropped something.
I was like, should I do a monologue right now?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Casey Adler, reading for first-time Red Lobster customer. It was Saturday night. I was hungry, tired, and looking for a place to unwind. And then I saw it. The Red Lobster restaurant in front of me, beckoning me with a promise of succulent seafood. But as I stood there, frozen, I couldn't help but notice the Mexican restaurant across the street attached to a Chevron's car wash. The mere logistics of the situation puzzled my mind. Why attach yourself to another company's car wash? It can't be good for business. Fajitas with a side of suds. Waiter, there's turtle wax in my marg. Yeah, my body was in a Red Lobster, but my thoughts were not. Was I betraying my curiosity by settling for a butter-coated extravaganza when I could walk across the street and simply ask, why? Why would they do that? It's a car wash. Literally, why would you do that? But then I realized that sometimes we make choices based on our immediate needs and desires. And that's okay. I was in front of the Red Lobster, and proximity is probably the number one thing driving customers through those doors. We make the best of our situation. Human nature. And that's the answer to the question. If I want to share my food with the world, do I choose no Mexican restaurant or build one out of a chevron? I'm going chevron every time, baby. Because that's the American dream.
Now, what I did notice is on the way back, the hostess asked me twice, "Are you a rewards member?" I said no. She just continued walking. She gets to the table. "Are you a rewards member? Like, are you trying to convince me?"
Yes, you know that's a metric they're tracking.
I know.
You do look like someone who would be a Red
No!
Lobster
I
rewards member.
I resent that
You do.
so much.
Your face is red.
Well, that's because they put stairs in there and I'm out of shape. They just made me work out in the middle of a Red Lobster. Of course my face is red.
And it's shiny from the butter still.
Garrett, do you know any more about this butter? Are there any, facts about the butter?
Specifically about the butter, no. But I do know that this butter is very intensely flavored butter.
Yeah.
Getting a forkful, not a pleasant experience.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Should we talk about that now or in atmosphere?
We'll talk about that later.
Okay, well, in
I
the
have
meantime,
some other facts.
you've rounded up some resty facts for us?
Yeah.
All right, let's go into this week's resty fact roundup. Garrett, what's on the docket for us this week? Learn us about some Red Lobster.
Okay. The founding of Red Lobster is more than just a story of a chain restaurant growing out of a sleepy central Florida city.
Did you pull this from their website?
No.
Yeah, it just sounds like propaganda.
This is the origin story of one of the world's largest restaurant conglomerates.
Oh, God.
Darden.
Dun, dun.
In 1968, Bill Darden opened the first Red Lobster in Lakeland, Florida, a city best known for being the spring training location of the Detroit Tigers, humidity, and retirees.
Thanks for grouping those three things together.
Yeah,
Retirees and humidity go together real well.
However, this was not Billy D's first foray into aquatic named restauranting.
Mm-hmm.
He opened the Green Frog, a small lunch counter capable of serving up to 25 at the age of 19 in 1937.
This man is just not creative. The Red Lobster, the Green Frog, the Orange Orangutan.
Hey, he
I
may have
would
a fourth,
never eat at a place called
fourth
the
grade
Orange
level
Orangutan.
education. Hey, he's rich.
With a what level?
Fourth grade level education.
Is that true?
No.
No. He only knows primary
I
colors.
was about to be so pro Darden. I was going to be like, oh, well, I got to root for the underdog.
For the next 30 or so odd years, Darden increased the size of his Green Frog restaurant, opened up multiple franchised Howard Johnsons, and expanded into hotel and motel properties.
Damn.
Dude just gonna buy things.
He just wants more and more.
Yeah. In 1963, Darden purchased Gary's Duck Inn, a seafood restaurant in Orlando, known locally for higher-end service at an affordable price. This inspired him to open the first Red Lobster less than 5 years later.
So he bought it and then kind of just took their model and
Yeah.
renamed it?
Exactly. Which we'll talk about this
The
later.
American way.
Yes. The service was great.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear that that's how they built this restaurant.
Sure. I agree with that.
Yeah, we all agree with that.
The name Red Lobster has two distinct origin stories.
Mhm.
Number one, Bill's wife Mary claims to have coined the name.
Wait, well, what's the other origin story?
The other origin story is the printing press from the first run of menus made the name. Casey, like you said, oh, Green Frog, Red Lobster. That's the story from the printing press. It's colors and animals.
And then what was the wife's claim?
I'm so smart, I came up with this idea in a brainstorming session.
Give me 30% of royalties.
And is there any actual confirmation on what it has? Like,
there's no confirmation.
Can't
I was
Bill
gonna say,
just
it
say yes
feels
or no
like
on that
he
one?
could just come out and be like, my wife
Yeah,
did
that
it.
one's true.
What do you think he's going to do? Lie just to make his wife happy?
Oh, woof. So I see what side you're taking.
By 1970, business was booming, and there were now 3 very popular Red Lobster locations. General Mills noticed and bought out the chain.
What is it with General Mills getting into the restaurant game?
Now,
what was the other one that they...
This was General Mills' first foray into the restaurant business.
Who did they own?
Olive Garden.
Olive Garden, that's right. I was going to say, I know that this fact came up before.
About 10 years later, they then decided to open Olive Garden after having a bunch of success with Red Lobster.
Wait, General Mills bought Red Lobster?
General Mills bought Red Lobster
Darden?
from Bill Darden and then hired Bill Darden to run it.
We're talking about General Mills, the cereal company,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Wow.
I knew they made Olive Garden.
Yeah, because
I didn't
General
know they had
Mills
Red Lobster.
actually started, they coined Darden. They started what Darden is.
It'd be like if Tesla purchased Red
Burger
Lobster.
King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 1995, General Mills decided to spin off Darden Restaurants into its own entity.
So Darden comes from General Mills.
Yes.
I guess I never knew that.
Darden Restaurants sold the Red Lobster property at the end of 2013 for $2.1 billion.
That's so much money.
That's like $4,023,000.
Yeah.
There are currently 667 Red Lobsters in the U.S.
Damn.
That's surprising.
Is it?
I was expecting I don't know, 100?
Really?
Is Red Lobster
I mean, we
that
had
They're
5
everywhere.
options for us down here
outside
in LA.
of Los Angeles, though?
Yeah.
But
5.
it was on the outskirts.
There's probably 100 in California, if I guess.
Is it outside of America too?
Maybe
Yes.
not that much.
Wow.
It's easier to name the states Red Lobster isn't in,
How many?
and you'll see a trend.
Is it going to be places that have just good seafood?
Yes.
Is it,
Really?
Red
Maine.
Lobster is not, you're right. Red Lobster is not located in Alaska, Maine, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, and Vermont.
It's like having Taco Bell in Mexico.
Yeah.
All of these locations combined serve more than 1 million Cheddar Bay biscuits per day.
A day.
God, that
Oh, man.
that made my bowels twist.
667 locations.
Let's do the math.
1 million Cheddar Bay biscuits per day. That's
1,500 biscuits
per
per restaurant per day.
Yeah, that
It's not
sounds
that
about
bad.
right. Knowing Americans' penchant for bread.
Yeah, and they're unlimited.
Yeah.
So here's a weird one. In 2012, Darden Restaurants planned to create the world's first commercial lobster fishery in Malaysia. This product had a proposed cost of nearly $500 million. So Darden put up about half the money. The government of Malaysia also put up money. But I looked this up. The last news mention of this I can find is from 2021, and it was still only mentioned as a hypothetical. And I'm just thinking that either some combination of the Red Lobster sale in 2013 and the pandemic probably killed this. They had an endless crab of promotion in the early 2000s that almost bankrupted the company.
Oh, I love that kind of stuff. Where it's like, oh, we underestimated how gluttonous people are.
Red Lobster topped a list of the most calorically unhealthy chain restaurant meals with a whopping 2,710 calorie monstrosity featuring Walt's favorite shrimp linguine Alfredo, and Parrot Isle jumbo coconut shrimp, served with French fries, Caesar salad, and a Cheddar Bay biscuit.
Okay, so I don't go into calories or my Weight Watchers points very often, but just the ramekin of butter that comes with the lobster is 17 points.
Oh.
Now, for reference, I get 30 points a day.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
So did you have the ramekin?
I barely used it.
You didn't take it home?
Yes, I took home a ramekin of butter on my already so buttered
Have
food.
a shot of butter.
Yeah. Oh, no. I don't know what you're
You
thinking,
should've
Garrett,
had
but
it.
the way your
I know,
face
You
right?
should
lit
have
up.
melted it and had a shot of.
I missed an opportunity.
Oh God.
I should have definitely done that.
Had we known,
We'll
it was
get
17
we'll get
points.
into this shortly in atmosphere, but oh my God, what a horrible thought. You got anything else?
Yeah, no, that is it. I
All right.
can't just stop thinking about butter shooters.
That's it for this week's Rusty Fact Roundup.
Atmosphere.
Obviously, we've got a nautical theme. There's a lot of pictures of lighthouses, blue curtains that were a little dusty.
A little.
I pointed them out at our meal. They were just like overhead, and I was just like, those curtains haven't been dusted. And Casey, you looked up and you just went, oh.
The moment you pointed them out, bats flew away.
Yeah. That's why they were singing Happy Birthday so quietly. If they were loud, it would have. Yeah, there was a birthday. There was only one birthday the whole time we were there, and it was this group that was singing so freaking quietly.
It was weird.
It was
Yeah.
weird.
And you know what? I want to give it the seldomly awarded "This is way too little."
This is way too little.
The volume those people were singing Happy Birthday, it was so shushed. And Garrett and I join in as we do. We join into all
We're
birthday
just
songs.
screaming.
But no, you're just screaming. I have social awareness.
You weren't screaming too?
No.
Oh, I have one volume of singing Happy Birthday.
I know.
That's screaming.
And they just looked over at you, and I'm like, Garrett, you're gonna dust the curtains.
They had that really shitty, gross drop ceiling that you have in every office building.
Oh, yeah. Where it's like the, not the popcorn ceiling, but like
It's like those like weird
porous.
fiberglassy boards.
Yeah, with the
Mm.
like cross beams or whatever. Yeah. Definitely takes at least a point or two off of the class level of your establishment.
But like the walls were wooden and nice. It had nice wood floors, brass handrails. It looked classy.
It looked like they were trying.
And the inlet lighting was beautiful. I felt like I was like being taken care of.
You were lit in a very positive
It was
manner.
totally
Your
it-
hair was magnificent
It
in
was.
this lighting. It was good for
It was
you.
aura lighting.
It's like you were glistening.
It was like you had a glow ring. It was like you had butter. Let's be real. It's like you were coated in butter.
It was like Papado knocked up Luby's.
What a horrible sentiment.
It was the fanciest nursing home ever.
Yeah. I feel like, Casey, you're the one who said this, but you compared it to a hotel restaurant, like a
I said a perfect 3-star hotel. The carpet was like jackered.
yeah.
You know?
And it just felt like we won a vacation from like Wheel of Fortune, and then this was the restaurant attached to that hotel. The dustiness of the curtains and the restaurants around the Red Lobster, I think probably gave it a sadder atmosphere than it probably would have otherwise.
It was also all the patrons were 65 plus.
And us, baby.
And
Yes.
I think they saw us and
Well, to be
were
fair,
happy.
despite being younger than me, you look like everyone in line at a pharmacy.
That's true.
Just,
That's
I don't know
true.
if it's a fashion sense or a big glasses
It's an
thing.
energy.
It is an
It's an
energy.
energy.
You definitely walk into a room and I feel like shushing.
I watched Law and Order when I was 5.
I do believe that. The people around us, there was a couple at a table next to us, and the first time I really noticed them was the man just like smacking the shit out of his lobster on the table with like the little like crack it open sort of tool, that little implement. And he just looks at us. He was like, "It was dead already." And I was like, "Yeah, we know." But he was a nice guy. They were a fun table.
I got a selfie with them later in the night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that, Garrett. Let's dive on in to how drinking butter was a missed opportunity and taking selfies with the other tables. Why was that?
Thanks, you must bowl.
Yep, the You Must Bowl gave Garrett a punishment.
So I had to sit at 10 different tables throughout the course of the meal.
Yes.
And you know
We
what?
stipulated that they should be empty. We made one exception because it was fun.
What I wanted to do was pull up next to a bunch of complete strangers and eat with them.
And be those assholes on like YouTube where you're like a prankster that's like ruining other people's meals. That's not us.
But I'm a positive addition to the meal.
I dine with you willingly, and I don't even agree with that.
This was my first time having dinner with and meeting Garrett, and I was like, first and last.
And then you also self-imposed that you
Yes.
had to eat a different part of your meal. Like you had to have a bite or drink of a different thing you ordered at every single table
I
you
wanted
sat at.
more of a challenge.
Yeah.
Mm.
So immediately, there were only 4 empty tables in our section. So once we knocked those out, we were like, okay, we're going to have to do some exploring. So yeah, you do the first one, easy peasy. You just have like a little bite of the biscuit, right?
Yeah, next one, like one of my drinks came. I down to kamikaze.
From there, it was like, okay, now I'm carrying odd foods with me. 1 Parrot Isle coconut shrimp.
There was a moment where we had no new food, so the
Yep.
only thing I could get was butter.
That's right. We had just a ramekin of butter, not the melted butter, which is what you're saying was the
Yeah,
missed opportunity.
The missed opportunity. I should have had, if we had melted butter, butter shooter. Easy.
I loathe that thought.
Jesus Christ.
I would divorce you. I'd be like, well, that's the finale.
Either that or you would just drop me off at a fire station in the baby drop-off box.
Or like a hospital, like you're overdosing, and they're like, what's wrong with him? I was like, just talk to him. You'll find out quickly. He just took a shot of Red Lobster butter. But no, you just had like the bread butter, and you just kind of took a little like forkful and ate it. And even still, you winced pretty heftily.
This butter, I don't know what was wrong with this butter.
It's butter. You ate butter. You ate raw butter.
But it
Not
didn't.
any butter
It
either.
was
It was
Red
Red
Lobster butter.
I don't know if you noticed, but the busser in our section noticed you every single time, was just watching you like a hawk.
That's okay.
Like, is he going to mess up the table? Am I going to have to like re-clean it? Which you didn't. You did your 10 tables. Mind you, for social media, I am filming these for you, which, by the way, you can see these antics on our TikTok, on our Instagram, at Fine Dining Podcast. That's right. We're on Instagram, at Fine Dining Podcast. We're on TikTok, at Fine Dining Podcast. And you can email us whatever you want, finediningpodcast@gmail.com. We might regret that, but I don't know. Maybe we won't. This You Must Bowl affected me. I had to get up and follow you to film you. Not even fair. I felt like I was being punished.
You're being punished by being with me at every single one of these meals already. So
I feel like I lost a contract with a devil. I feel like I sold my soul, and my eternal damnation is, yeah, but you got to eat with this guy at mediocre chain restaurants.
it was your rating that pushed this into over mediocre territory, so I had
wasn't
to do this.
that bad.
You have this magical standard that you're holding Benihana to.
Yeah, I do. They earned it.
With a 2-hour wait.
It was a 1-hour wait, and then an hour at the table.
Yeah.
Anyways, Casey, how did you like Benihana?
The volcano?
It was
Yeah,
incredible.
that was about it. It was
I
fun.
thought it was above mediocre. This guy thinks that because I think that I feel like Benihana has a floor. I feel like the worst Benihana is still not going to be a 1.
100%.
I don't know.
Thank you.
I think a 5-hour wait would have made that a 1.
No, because at the end of the day, the experience is the experience.
But do you think Red Lobster would have been better if the chef came out,
and
cooked it
kissed me on the mouth?
kissed you on the mouth, made a little volcano, and cooked it in front of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I
it's
do.
really about show.
It's premise.
It's show.
The premise of Benihana has a floor. It just simply can't fall below a certain rating.
That's
So.
true. That's a good point.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, the music here was like, I don't know, poppy, like top 40 type of stuff, which didn't feel appropriate for a Red Lobster.
Well, you can't have a mix of Sheryl Crow for your dinner and expect it to be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like any place that just goes classy jazz, you immediately get points.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're playing just the radio, automatic step down. It's just like, oh, you didn't put a lot of thought into this. It's
if
just
you're
someone's
playing
Spotify.
2003 just the radio,
Yeah.
then it's not going to be great.
Throw on some jazz, and I'm like, okay, this is a place that takes itself seriously. If a Denny's started playing jazz, I'd be
Miles
like,
Davis.
into it.
If a Denny's had a live jazz band,
Oh, man.
Yeah, Denny's live music every Friday night from 7 to 10. They had a payment machine. That's another thing that undercuts your atmosphere substantially.
Mhm.
When you have an automated, like, credit card.
Well, it wasn't just the payment machine.
Oh, no.
it was a payment
an
machine
entertainment
with,
device.
Yeah, with video games that you can't play.
Unless you
can
pay.
No, I don't even think you could play them.
Oh, really?
It was just, these are the video games that you can...
That exist.
that exist.
And I actually did see a kid at another table.
Watch the automatic.
Yeah, and that
video
same
game.
table, the like mom or dad had like metal music kind of blasting from their phone.
I saw that.
It was
Well,
such
they
a
were sick
weird
of Cheryl
choice.
Croy.
They were sick
Croy.
of
Cheryl Croy.
Cheryl Croy.
Oh, Cheryl Croy. That's Cheryl Crow's Irish
Yeah, Cheryl Croy.
sister.
It was a very funny choice to where it's just like I want to hear some Mastodon. So screw Cheryl Crow. Now there was a peculiar thing I noticed when I went to the restroom. Not the cleanest, not the worst. It was a run of the mill whatever kind of restroom. They did have like a little flavored all crew must wash hands instead of all employees, where it's like, oh, nautical. I appreciate it.
I didn't go to the restroom there. I wish I would have.
Now, waiting outside of the restaurant for probably 2/3 of our experience, there was an ambulance parked outside, but they weren't in a rush. They didn't seem to be tending to anyone. And I'm just wondering, what's going on over there?
What's going on over there? What's going on over there? Should I worry? Should I care? What is going on over there?
Michael, what's going on over there?
Mike, what's going on over there?
Thanks, guys. It's a preemptive ambulance. There's so much butter at this Red Lobster that someone's gonna get hurt.
Butter is deadly.
Butter's deadly, whether it's a heart attack,
Clogging your arteries.
clogging your arteries,
A slip and fall.
a slip and fall.
Choking on butter.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's too hard because they put it in the freezer or the fridge.
Yeah. Or literal, like, the butter reflecting off of someone just because they're so glistening, you get distracted and go blind.
Have you ever tried to snort butter? Like, after you do that, nothing else happens.
Why do you have experience with this?
I don't.
Okay.
But that ambulance is there, so I could have
So
tried.
you could have tried and you would have had a safety net.
Yes.
Yeah. This is also not their first rodeo. This ambulance comes by often. They are used to butter-related incidents at this Red Lobster, for sure.
Yeah, this ambulance has a punch card for free car washes and tacos.
Yeah, they're just... Can you imagine the ambulance just like going through that car wash? Just unrelated. Do ambulances fit through a car wash?
Probably.
That sounds like such a fireable offense.
Is it a symbiotic relationship between the ambulance and Red Lobster?
I think so.
So no one's Red Lobster isn't paying the ambulance to be there.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just like they get to not worry about the headline of their food killed somebody.
It's like
so they can increase the butter content.
It's like a clownfish and a sea anemone.
You said that really well. Yes, it's the same relationship. I know. I'm so well versed in clownfish and sea anemone.
Like when it's feeding, that's like when Red Lobster is pumping us filled with butter, and the clownfish is protecting the restaurant from the liability of all of our future deaths.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's the opposite, but yes.
And I think that's what was going on over there.
What is going on over there?
Now, the layout of this place, there were like 5 different dining sections. The one that we were in, the kind of big one in back that you can tell they kind of put all their eggs in that basket as far as decorating. And then they had one that almost felt like the tables next to the buffet. Like if you go to a hotel buffet, it wasn't a buffet at this Red Lobster, but it just felt like that layout. A little private area and then a bar area. So I don't know. This Red Lobster felt like it was just very sprawling, a little bit too all over the place.
It felt more like a commune or like Waco, Texas. Like everyone gets their spot. And then, the FBI.
But hey, the ambulance is already on premises.
Right.
So
They're
we're good
ready
to
for
go.
that.
I think all this adds up to, now that we have brought in a cult-like atmosphere, I'm going to go 0 thumbs on the atmosphere. Not 2 up, not 1 up, none down, just 0.
Yeah, I'm also going to go 0 thumbs. Nothing offensive, nothing rewarding, just
There.
safety in an ambulance.
I'll give 0. It felt dry. It felt wry. It felt
Cry. It did feel a little
But
bit
it
cry,
was
let's
not
be real.
spry.
It was not spry. We'll be right back.
Service.
Okay, of all the servers we've had, I think this guy was the most pro. He just felt like he had been through it, but hadn't lost
He's not
the
jaded
enthusiasm.
yet.
Yeah, he's not jaded, and yet almost sounds like if he's not by this point, he never will be.
He was like the perfect worker. Someone who knows that everything they're doing is not helpful. At the same time, you want to do a great job.
Yeah.
You want to do well in life just for yourself, for your own personal integrity.
Yeah. I liked this guy a lot. His name was Paul. We only give the names of waiters that were exceptional, and I feel like we can all agree that we're not really going to be shit-talking this guy at all.
Yeah, I'll just come right out and say it. If it wasn't for Amy, Paul would be our number one.
Yeah. I got literal friend energy from him. Like, I felt like I knew him.
Yes.
And I didn't. And I was like, not everyone is able to kind of connect with you that well and that quickly. I felt like immediately I was like, oh, I'm comforted with this.
Paul felt like my brother.
Like, I felt like we were tight. He didn't seem to have a problem with you. He actually suggested sections that you go to get tables 8 through 10 when you had to sit at 10 different empty tables throughout the course of the meal. He was giving you ideas, and he was like, yeah, you won't have a problem with me. And I was like, all right.
He knows how to go off book.
I mean, giving you that artisanal white bread.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was his idea.
That was his idea.
It was his idea. He was like, you know what? I'll see what the chefs can whip up.
And the chefs walked to IHOP and came back with bread.
Yep, that's what they did. The chefs left their post and went over to the IHOP.
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. There's a Sprouts down the road. They went to Sprouts.
Yeah. I mean, I had the bread too. I thought it was good.
It was great.
It was great.
It
just wasn't.
IHOP has great bread.
I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I'm going 2 thumbs up on Paul. I don't have a ton more to add. He was great.
One moment I liked, so when we first ordered our drinks, we were all getting named drinks.
Mm.
I'm like, hey, is there a drink named after an Asian person?
Well, I got an Arnold Palmer.
I got a Shirley Temple.
I got a Roy Rogers, but Roy Rogers not an Asian dude, so he's like, get a kamikaze shot. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Do you have a thumb rating?
Thumb rating, 2 thumbs up.
Easy.
2 thumbs up. Definitely 2 thumbs up. But kamikaze is not named after a human.
No.
So, it's slightly, it could be slightly offensive, but he was I think that was his only word
recourse
that he knew off the top of his head.
And I thought it was funny that, like, okay, first thing, kamikaze.
I like the subtext of, like, I need a drink named after an Asian person, and he's basically like, kill yourself. And those around you.
And now, a word from our totally not made up sponsor.
Oh, hi there. It's your favorite sponsor, Chubb, and I am back with a brand new thing this week. Do you think there's a tragic shortage of beverages named after Asians? Chubb's got you covered. I've been drinking all sorts of things and giving them names. First up, in honor of her Oscar win, we've got the Michelle Yeoh Hito. It's a regular mojito, and then you throw in literally everything. You can drink it everywhere, and it'll make you think every thought you've ever had all at once. And then Daniel Day Kim? No, Daniel Day Curry. Like daiquiri. They're not all great. They can't all be as good as the Constance Wooski Sour. Putting all those people aside, there's one man and one man alone that we should be honoring. The drunken master himself. We've got the Jackie Chan Hatton. We're gonna go deeper. We're gonna give him a drink for a bunch of his movies. How about a Mai Tai Noon? It's 2 parts Western, a dash of that nose divot that Owen Wilson has, and you finish it off with a karate chop. Speaking of karate, Jackie Chan was in that Karate Kid remake. Well, how about we make him the Colada Kid? Oh, I'm being told I gotta wrap this up because I'm suggesting mixing kids with alcohol. I'm not gonna have any kids anywhere near this segment. Okay, bye.
Munchkin Menu Musings.
Hi, my name is Owl, and I'm 3 years old. I'm wearing the kids menu. I'm Red Lobster. I will like to eat macaroni. I will like to eat the ice cream too. I do lot of animals. I do horse, I do a turtle, and I do a crab, and I do a sausage. I see people swimming in a swimming pool. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I see 10 ditch. I see a mommy ditch, getting a baby ditch. There's a melting puddle. There's a dog. I like to cuddle the seahorse. Why do not have a body? I like about it because there's the Red Lobster. I think the puzzles are done. I get it. one thumbs up. Thank you. And a good day.
Food. Yum.
Okay, so we've got to talk about the food. And the very first thing on our table, the very first thing on everyone's table at a Red Lobster is...
The Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Yeah, and Garrett, you and I don't eat cheese, but you bit the bullet, you bit the biscuit.
Yeah, someone had to. Like, this is what Red Lobster is known for.
Yeah.
They were soft, airy, crumbly, and they only had a hint of mild cheddar.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't like cheese, but this was not overpowering. I could handle this. I didn't want to throw it up. It didn't digestionally mess with me later. These aren't the dense, doughy biscuits that you get from most places outside of the South.
See, I love dense, doughy biscuits.
Oh, man. I love the light and fluffiness of these.
I mean, I love them both. I just love biscuits.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I just don't love cheese.
Fun fact about these biscuits, it's company policy to provide biscuits equaling the number of people at the table plus one.
I hate when restaurants do that. I think it should be multiples. I think it should be just, if there's 3 people, bring 6.
I'm
or
gonna give,
3.
I'm going to give
3.
Paul credit for this because we got 6.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Well, it is unlimited.
And he didn't know we weren't going to eat
Why?
it.
So you want 2 per person, even if not everyone's going to have 2?
I don't
So you
like,
wanna
I don't
throw
like
away-
the assumption.
You want to throw away food?
Or do you want to send back food?
I do love sending back food. My favorite thing.
Send it back, send it back. No, the chef, it was fine, but there's something it lacks. Send it back, send it back.
No, I mean, it's just more about, like, I've noticed, like, CPK, if I go with 4 people and you get 5 pieces, there's definitely going to be more than one person who wants a second.
100%.
I don't like that you're now asking for an entire extra thing of bread.
So you think in aggregate you'd actually have less food waste?
Yeah, probably. I think for 3 people, I think
Interesting.
5 is the right amount to bring.
I think you make a great point.
I don't think plus 1. I think it's double it minus 1.
Do you think we should make this a policy?
Yeah.
Legislation.
Yes, I'm gonna let's call our representatives and our senators.
But what happens if you go
Petition.
double minus 1 and everyone wants double?
Oh, that's good. I think double minus 1 means that 2 people will split that last one.
Yeah,
And that creates camaraderie, community,
Or conflict.
or conflict,
or conflict.
and that's spicy as well. I like conflict.
So these biscuits, 9 out of 10 biscuits.
Wow,
Mm.
all right.
Amazing
Wow.
biscuits. I actually took the rest of them home and ate them that night.
Very sad.
Yeah, it was. That was the rest of my meal.
He
I
actually
went home.
cried while doing it. It was
My girlfriend was at work. I was home alone. I was just sitting in my kitchen,
Listening to Sheryl
topless,
Crow.
listening to Sheryl
And we're
Crow
just like-
eating biscuits.
you could have at least turned on a light. Now, we had the artisan bread, which is just toast. It was lightly toasted
and I
bread,
couldn't
lightly
even
buttered.
butter it. I couldn't even butter it, so
Yeah.
I just had toast.
It had like it had an oil on it, right? It had something.
It had an oil, which
Like an
in
olive
my
oil or
brain,
something?
I said,
Is that
"Oh,
butter?
you put a little butter on there,
It
didn't
may have
you?"
been. It was good
It was
though.
probably
It was
butter.
good. It was fine.
Yeah, I wrote that it was
very white,
still
though.
solid.
It was still white. It was very white. Did this just get bleached?
It's
Why
an
is this so
artisanal
white?
product. Of course it's white.
It was gentrifying bread.
Yeah, yes. 7 out of 10 for that bread. I thought it was,
7 out of 10. I've had better artisanal bread.
yeah, that's what 8, 9, and 10 are for, Casey.
No. I'm going with 6.
Okay.
I'm going with a 6, and I still say IHOP. You did great.
IHOP doesn't even offer bread. They have pancakes
This
and
is
waffles.
their bread.
You know why they don't have bread? They give it to Red Lobster.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's move on to the appetizers. We got the Parrot Isle Jumbo Coconut Shrimp with Pina Colada sauce. I'm the only one who tasted the sauce.
That was weirdly chunky, by the way.
Well, because I think it had like some pineapple chunks. I thought that the shrimp was okay. I thought that the sauce didn't add anything positive. I thought it was better without the sauce, but the sauce wasn't bad. I'm just going to 6.5 out of 10 on these.
the first bite of the coconut shrimp was amazing.
Yeah?
On the third coconut shrimp that I ate, I started to feel like I wasn't having coconut, but rather coconut essence.
Mm-hmm.
So I give it a 5. Had I just had one coconut shrimp, I would have given it an 8.5.
Gaven it.
Yeah, I would have given it.
Nice.
I would have given it an 8.5.
Okay, Cheryl Croy.
I really would have given it an 8.5.
Yeah,
But having 3 gives you more experience with something.
I agree.
It's like the NBA.
Like, I'm going to rate Garrett's fries off of 1 fry. People are like, that's a complete crapshoot.
And hey, I think you're right. I only had 1.
Oh, and you loved them?
And you
I loved it.
Exactly.
8 out of 10. This
Exactly.
thing, I wrote down, wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Crispy coconut
Yes.
breading that released just enough grease during the first crunch.
Now, do you think you liked it so much because you got to eat it away from us at another table?
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, the batter stayed attached. It was tender. It was a savory shrimp. Everything was excellent about this thing.
Yeah.
But also, I felt like eating the 3rd shrimp, it really didn't taste like I was having like a real shrimp underneath the bread, but rather mushed together shrimp attached to a little tail.
For appearances?
Yeah.
So like schnitzel shrimp.
Put the tail in there so
Shrimp
they don't
schnitzel.
notice.
Oh.
Put the tail in so they don't know it's an imposter shrimp. Then we got the crispy Brussels sprouts. Casey immediately was
I
like,
said, this tastes like Panda Express Brussels sprouts.
because it literally had like a soy glaze.
Yeah.
I thought they were really good.
They were very good.
I'll give them a 7 out of 10. I'm not going to go like,
And I actually had maybe 4 or 5 Brussels sprouts.
I had a good amount. Yeah.
And so that tells me, yes, they are a 7.
Yes, you can settle on it because you've had enough of a sample.
I'm going to give these a 9 out of 10.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
They were cooked properly throughout. They weren't mushy. They had a really strong char flavor. And the
Mhm.
onion straws on top added a little bit of excellent crunch. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they were very
Yeah, they
well
were
made.
good.
I think the ones that I had were a little too sauce soaked.
oh, I cherry picked them.
So
definitely.
it was like a texture thing for me. Still a really good flavor, but yeah, I think mine were just a little too saucy.
These reminded me of the ones we had at the Cheesecake Factory, but they were cooked all the way through.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so now we arrive at our actual meal. Garrett, do you want to go first with your order?
Okay.
You went to a Red Lobster and got
I got chicken tendies.
Oh.
I had to.
You didn't have to.
I didn't have to, but like
No one made you.
I really don't like seafood that much, and I was in the mood for something that I thought I was going to enjoy.
Did you think right?
I thought incredibly wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, these things were crap. It was flavorless breading, but the flavorless breading stayed attached to the somewhat moist and runny chicken.
You and I split one, right,
Yeah.
Casey? I didn't even have moist.
It was almost like it was the same mushed together shrimp.
They dried out throughout the meal. Like the first
Oh,
one I had was
so
moist
over
and
time.
great, but after that they were all
Well,
dry.
also the breading on them, it tasted fishy.
I
And
didn't
it's- and
taste.
it's
I
the
didn't
chicken.
taste anything from the breading. I didn't taste anything from the chicken, to be honest. That's a 3.5 chicken tender. It was
I
disgusting.
tasted tan.
It was like tanned leather.
Like,
Yeah.
I can only just describe a color.
It was like a fast food but bigger chicken tender.
It wasn't even as good as a fast food chicken tender.
Oh yeah, I would take a Wendy's nuggets over this.
1,000%.
I went 4.5 out of 10 on the half of one that I had, but garbage.
2.5.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Those fries,
Yeah.
flaccid, lukewarm, undercooked, and taste just like butter.
Do you know
4
how
out of
often
10.
you use flaccid to describe things? Flaccid and limp. I hear you use a lot.
Hey, I've used like turgid before.
You have. Yeah. All I wrote for the fries is meh. The one that I got, I don't know. I'd say 4.5. It didn't impress me by any stretch of the imagination. Wasn't garbage, but yeah.
Mashed potatoes.
Oh, that's right. It was small. It looked like you got like just a
Ice cream
dollop.
scoop of
I
mashed
was just going to
potatoes.
say it did look like ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just tasted just like butter and pepper.
Uh-huh.
That was it.
Ben and Jerry's
Which, to be
new
fair, are
Red
good
Lobster
flavors.
ice cream.
It was gross though. It was pasty and a little bit lumpy.
It looked like it was on dialysis.
Yeah, it would have tasted better if it had the filtration and moisture it gets from dialysis.
What a comparison.
Yeah. 5 out of 10 bad kidney potatoes.
Bad kidney potatoes. Legendary.
So I had blackened salmon,
Mhm.
which
Was more brown.
it was more
Orange?
it was paint. It was a Michael's painted on blackened.
They actually
top.
have like a swatch in back, and they're like comparing.
I think there's a Michael's in that same plaza
Yeah,
too.
there is. But I got the full plate, and it was certainly healthier. It was a healthier option, but it was so rubbery. Like I before cutting into it, I felt like I could hold this up, slap you with it,
And it
put it
would
back.
not break.
It would not break.
Why didn't you do that?
I should have. I really should have. But overall, the salmon tasted fine. I would give that a 7.5. Did you try some, Michael?
I tried some. I just went 5 out of 10.
Oh,
It was very
I'm gonna
average
bump
salmon.
I'm gonna bump mine down then.
Who are you trying to impress,
6.5.
You know what? I'm gonna take it down even lower. 3.5 out of 10.
Oh, did you?
Really?
Yeah.
You had some?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote meh, flavorless, limp, and dry.
Mm.
The thing that
Limp.
really
Limp
got
comes
yeah,
in.
I couldn't even cut the thing with the fork.
Yeah.
It was too
Mm.
rubbery.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It took me a while to get my bite off your plate. I was like literally just like
It was weird.
moving piles around your plate trying
It
to
was
just
weird.
get a
It took
forked
2
cut.
forks to get it
Yeah.
onto your plate. I also had the orzo rice, which was good.
Mhm.
Tasted like that little like box of rice pilaf you get from Ralph's.
Yeah.
It sustained me that night.
Mhm.
I in a lot of ways, it was the best thing. I would give it an 8.
Okay.
Wow.
You guys didn't have any of it. I
Now
appreciate.
you're giving me FOMO.
Yeah, we should all go back tonight and
Yeah,
order,
just order
Just
rice.
rice.
a bucket of orzo rice.
Let's do it.
The last thing I had was a kebab of grilled shrimp, which was utterly bathed in butter.
I thought it was good though.
It was good.
Yes.
It was good. I had 2 or 3.
I just wrote actually pretty solid, which goes to show what my expectation was, just the actually
By the
being
time
a
we got there,
surprise.
yeah.
7 out of 10 on those
7,
shrimp for me.
yeah, I also give it a 7.
I only went 5 out of 10 on those because they were extremely rubbery by the time I got to it.
Right.
But the garlic and butter flavor was really good on this.
I thought
Yeah,
they were.
'cause they
I
were-
thought they were solid.
They were starting to become cold by the time you ate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Because like if you warm up plastic, it'll be loose.
Uh-huh.
But as it
Yeah.
cools down,
You
it hardens.
You got to keep your plastic tender.
Yes.
right.
You got to keep the plastic tender. The rule number 1 of plastic, we all know.
CFCs just go to shit right away.
Yeah. Okay, so for my meal, I got the surf and turf. I got Maine lobster tail and a New York steak.
Was that a New York steak?
Yes, it
I thought it
was.
was a sirloin.
No,
It
I,
That
did look like a
not
sirloin.
deserve to be called a New York
I
steak.
got the New York.
What?
Yeah. And then I had baked potato and broccoli on the side. So
That New York was pure fat. That can't even be called a New York
no,
steak.
your bite was. But even still, the fat was so tough. It was bad fat. Like,
yeah,
good fat on a steak is one of the tastiest, like,
sure.
things you can eat.
Marbleized.
This was, I wrote bad steak, bad fat, bad texture, too buttery. 3 out of 10.
Jesus.
Wow.
This was an affront to steak. This was the worst steak I've had on the podcast. This is maybe the worst steak I can remember eating.
Do you believe that it was the cow's fault, the chef's fault,
Maybe
the
the
distribution
amount
chain?
of butter that it probably spent time in before it made it to my plate, before it even made it to the pan.
Right.
I don't know. But
This was definitely not grass fed.
no.
Yeah, no, it went through that car wash. It spent some time in the
Yeah,
ambulance.
This was car wash steak. Now, before I go to my other entree that, was surf and turf, I do want to talk about my sides. Broccoli was like a buttery mash as well. Like,
It was. It
it's
was
supposed to
weird.
be healthy. I'm supposed to be balancing
They
out
got
the
it from the
unhealthy stuff
green
that I'm eating.
frog.
Yeah, it was green frog broccoli. 5 out of 10. I mean, it was average tasting, but it was still just like, why are you doing this to even your broccoli? Clearly, people are ordering the broccoli because they want to be a little bit healthier. Don't butter it up.
But hey, you can eat that broccoli without your dentures.
That's true. It was
It was like a spoonful of like cereal broccoli.
cereal broccoli.
The bottom of the bowl cereal broccoli.
And then I got a baked potato, which was probably the best part of the meal for me. I got it with butter, chives, and bacon bits. It was a solid baked potato, 7.5 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now to move on to my lobster. Now, I had lobster just a week ago at Benihana, and it was good lobster. It wasn't the best lobster I've ever had, but it performed well.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was sizable. There were good chunks inside the shell, like 3 very solid, like little rolls almost. This they like fluffed it up out of the tail.
It was weird.
So it looked like it was overflowing with lobster meat. And I was like, oh man, this is good value.
It was a love handle of lobster.
But then you look at it from the side and the entire tail is empty. So you have an empty tail with this top layer of actual meat. It looked like a fleshlight from the side.
All right.
It was just a lobster fleshlight with a pool of butter that Garrett wished that he downed for some reason.
It would have been better content if I just did a butter shooter.
No, it would not have been.
Butter shooter.
That ambulance would have been put to use. It was a like an angering amount of meat. I was just like, this is it? Tasted good. I mean, it's lobster at a place known for it, but even then, a little too buttery. I barely used the butter sauce. Barely. Like a little dip on one of the bites, and the rest I just kind of had the lobster as is. 7 out of 10, but like hugely exaggerated, insulting, hollow lobster tail. Give more meat. Like, give better lobster. I don't know. My roommate suggested that maybe it was like they were trying to make it because sometimes the lobster sticks to the shell, so they were making it easier for you to access the lobster.
That's a very generous reason.
I don't even necessarily disagree with it, but still the amount of the lobster was just insulting. The brownie overboard. I thought it was good. They definitely... I don't know if I'd call it overboard on the brownie. Like, there were like 3 little triangular chunks that, you know, they were a good size, but they weren't overboard. Solid dessert, good tasting, 7.5 out of 10 for me.
I only watched you two eat it that night.
And how would you rate that?
And I watched it fall into your beard a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And watching you guys enjoy it, it felt like an 8 to me.
Oh, wow.
Okay, wow. For me, it was a 6 out of 10. The brownie, ice cream, caramel, everything, it was fine.
I mean, those are good ingredients.
They were
just
good
listed.
ingredients, but they didn't do anything special for me. It was just a mid-as-hell dessert. I think this was a Red Lobster problem in general. They hit one flavor note hard on every single thing.
And in most of them, it was butter.
Yeah. I want some complexity.
Yeah.
And maybe that's too much
to ask from a Red Lobster.
But you guys didn't even finish the brownie overboard. Had you gotten to the middle, there was a chunk of butter waiting for you.
There was an actual concealed ramekin.
Oh, maybe that's what I hit my tooth on. I was trying to drink it.
That's right. You clinked your tooth on the martini glass that this brownie concoction was served in as you were drinking it at the bar at your 10th table of the night that you had to sit at. Overall, on the food, I'm giving a reluctant 1 thumb up. I think just on paper...
Can I give quarter thumbs?
No. You can't even give it half a thumb.
All right, so you give it 1 thumb up. I'll give it 0.
You'll give it 0?
I'll give it 0.
Yeah.
I'm also going to give this 0 thumbs up. It started off great with some very high scores with the biscuits and the appetizers, and it only went into a buttery downhill slope from there.
Yeah.
So it averages out, so about a quarter thumb.
It's a third of a thumb.
We need a little yum from strangers. A 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4 or 5. So get a little yum from strangers. A little yum. Give us those complaints while you literally whine and die. Yelp!
All right, and we are back with Yelp from Strangers, our segment where we read our favorite 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course the perfect 5-star Yelp reviews. You can listen to this full segment exclusively on our Patreon, but you'll be able to hear a couple of them right now. Now, this is a review of the specific Red Lobster that we went to.
1-star review.
No, this was a 1-star review from MacGyver P 1 month ago.
Great. Good start.
I know, right? Okay, first time here. So I am literally sitting in this Red Lobster right now. Placed order about 40 minutes ago now. Have not received my table's food. Literally, one of the worst experience I've ever had since I walked in the door. Don't want to play any kind of card here. The host seemed to seat my mom and I in what seemed like undesirable table.
Uh-oh. No. I don't even know anything about this person.
Asked to move to better table, got stuck in a corner. What I would consider, again, not a good table.
Were they not up on the stage for the world to see?
They were not, but they dealt with it. Still waiting on my food. Maybe I'll edit this later if the food is good. Let's see when that is.
So wait. Was he writing the review?
He's just like,
He's in the
live
restaurant.
tweeting
was
his review.
Stream of consciousness?
He's
writing the
live
entire
tweeting on
time?
Yelp.
There is plenty of other options in this area for food. I would highly recommend going elsewhere. We walked in at 6-ish p.m., 1/8/23 on a Sunday. Surprisingly slow. But again, never been here before. I am starting to see why it's so slow. Manger on duty tonight. Should be more attentive to tables. Would give this to place a 0 starts if possible. Did I just have a freaking stroke? What the hell?
Butterbrain, baby. It affects us all, even mid-tweet.
Like, I can see why this dude was
Although
like
he
shoved
hasn't
into
gotten
the
his
corner.
food. He's just gotten butter essence. He just smells butter vapors, and it's affecting his brain power.
This was 1 month ago. He still hasn't updated it, so he's still waiting there.
He's still there.
2-star review.
This is from Marta C. 8 months ago. Went this past weekend and they were basically out of all sodas except Diet Pepsi. It would have been nice if they would have posted a sign on the door stating so. They knew it and should have posted it. I feel that's management's neglect in not doing so. To me, it's very unprofessional for a business like this to run out of sodas. Unacceptable. Marta C. really wanted her soda buffet.
Marta C. went to Red Lobster
for the sodas. She wanted a suicide. She was like, "Give me one from all of them." Hey, they're like, "We can, we'll compromise."
She
Diet
could have
Pepsi.
grabbed a drink from Chevron and came back.
5-star review.
All right, this 5-star review is from Diana B. Very surprised at how good the food here was.
That's a good start.
I came here with very low expectations and was pleasantly surprised. The Maine lobster, MP, was only 38 and tasted like I was sitting on the pier of Portsmouth Harbor in Maine. The create your own feast has shrimps, lobster, and crab. So tasty. Our waitress, Linnea, did a great job too, and really added to the hometown feel. I don't believe it.
I like how you transported us to a lighthouse midway through that.
I don't believe it. I know it says at the beginning, very surprised at how good the food here was, which is kind of a red herring.
It's a backhanded compliment for sure.
I do believe this was a paid for review.
You think Diana B, the B stands for bought and sold?
Or
Diana Bot.
Yeah. She just has low standards in life.
Yeah.
Low standards, yeah.
I got her.
I mean, it's very poetic. She might write poetry and go to poetry readings on the side and get snaps from just her friends.
Just snaps, yeah.
I do believe this is also a fake review because, as Garrett was mentioning earlier, one of the only states that does not have Red Lobster is Maine.
Yeah, but she
Ooh.
said that Red Lobster in and of itself makes you feel transported to Maine.
Which it
But
doesn't.
I feel like
So
a
it's
Mainer would, and not saying this woman is a Mainer,
because she's clearly not.
because she's clearly not, but certainly a Mainer would not say this.
I think you've more just ruled out that she's from one of 49 other states more than anything else. If you'd like to hear the rest of our Yelp from Strangers segment, go on over to our Patreon, and we'll be posting all 5 of our favorite reviews there. You can find the link for that in the description of this episode, or just go to patreon.com/finediningpodcast.
Final rating.
Okay, we've got to give a final rating to Red Lobster. We've got to place it up on the tchotchke of media. Are you impressed by the tchotchke of mediocrity, Casey?
It's actually quite incredible.
Right? It's
Yeah.
a cool sight to behold. You can see it over on our Instagram at Fine Dining Podcast, or you can watch our video episode, The Hooter Bowl.
God, I want to know
On our
what
Patreon.
lands at a 0.
Oh God, I hope we never find a place that is like 0.
Like a line cook would have to come out and punch us all in the face.
Stab us with like a prong. But yeah, it keeps track of all of our scores so far, and we need to know where does Red Lobster fall. So we got to give it a rating. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
All right.
I truly believe in my heart of hearts, it is no more, no less than a 4.5.
4.5, 4.50.
4.50.
And what's brought you to that?
Just the overall sadness I felt leaving Canoga Park. I've never felt such an interminable amount of utter despair.
I remember
driving away.
I know that you said
I
that
wasn't
it was like
happy. I wasn't. Getting anyone buying you a meal is a nice time, is a nice treat. But I walked away going,
I still want my money back. Yeah. Yeah, overall, I went 3 thumbs up. Like, that's my aggregate score of all the sections of Red Lobster. I went 0 on atmosphere, 2 up on service. We had a great server, and 1 up on food, a reluctant 1 up. But that didn't place it too high. I mean, I have gone places that got like 3 thumbs up that were like in the 8s. That's just not the case here. I'm going 6.2. And the determining factor of that was I went 6.23 or 2.4 on Hooters, and I think I liked the Hooters experience more, mostly just because the lemon pepper shrimp there was incredible, and I want to go back for that.
Yes.
And the wings. The wings were good. But yeah, I can't even put Red Lobster over Hooters.
No.
Red Lobster doesn't beat a restaurant.
No. But also, I don't want to belabor the point, but the price point for such food, it does affect the score.
Historically, it has not for us.
But I'm going to because
but it's welcome to for you.
Because again, if these were Denny prices, that's a different thing because Denny's knows what it is.
Yeah. Red Lobster is delusional.
Red Lobster is either delusional or masquerading as something that it's not.
Yeah.
I thought of this experience very much like our Bubba Gump Shrimp Company experience.
Of course, comparable, both seafood, both great servers.
Yes, the servers really saved the experience of just middling food and an okay atmosphere.
Yeah.
I gave Bubba Gump a 6.05. I can't in good conscience rate Red Lobster above Bubba Gump.
So how close is it falling?
I'm going to give Red Lobster a 6.04.
Is that 1/100th short of Bubba Gump?
Yes.
Just to make a statement?
Just to make a statement.
All right, well, the 3 of our scores averaged together. Casey, you really brought it down into the zone of mediocrity.
Thank you, Casey.
Red Lobster falls at a 5.58, slapping it up on the tchotchke of mediocrity. Garrett, thanks to Casey, you're not going to have to sit at 10 tables next time. You're not going to have to do anything crazy. There is no You Must Bowl.
No.
That said, we are going to cry out to our audience for submissions.
Hey guys, give us more. We want some help. We
want some really good You Must Bowl suggestions. Nothing that's going to screw up someone's day. You know, we're not looking to go over and be like, oh, you have to hit 3 people in the face while they're eating. Not that.
No.
All right, well, 5.58 for Red Lobster is not 5.00, which means we have to keep looking. It means that we need to play the headline game.
The rules of the headline game are as follows. Garrett will present 3 headlines to Michael that include this week's restaurant. They can be made up, or they can be actual headlines. If Michael can correctly guess if at least 2 out of 3 are real or fake, he will get to select next week's restaurant. However, if Garrett stumps him, he'll select again. Are you ready to play, fellas?
I am ready.
I'm on edge.
Great.
Okay, well, you're on edge, you're ready. Headline number 1. 50 Shades of Red Lobsters. What color are lobsters, really?
I don't think it's about the Red Lobster restaurant. I'm gonna say true.
I do believe it's true as well.
I think it's true.
Because I'm sure it's some kind of critique from
Like
the Washington Post.
Yeah, stop calling them red. They're like upset.
It's like when
They're
Subway tuna was discovered to not be tuna.
Oh, woof. Yeah.
Ooh. Headline number 2. Lobsters, tigers, and bears. Oh my. Kissimmee Red Lobster has run-in with escaped feline.
False.
I'll go with true. It's a little much, but I'll go with true.
I'm saying false just because if there's like an animal infestation or run-in, that's Garrett's prime zone of creativity on these.
Okay, last one. Rockin' Red Lobsters. Local DJ wins eating competition at local seafood restaurant.
True.
False. I don't buy
Why would
it.
he lie to us?
It's the design of the game.
So the first headline, 50 Shades of Red Lobsters. What color are lobsters, really?
Yeah.
Both of you said true.
Yep.
It is true.
Yeah.
The next one, lobsters, tigers, and bears. Oh my. Kissimmee Red Lobster has run in with escaped feline.
Yeah.
Michael, you said false. Casey, you said true. It is false.
I knew it.
I kind of had that feeling, and I just felt like from the way Michael was saying false, I was like, you know what? I don't want him to be fully right.
So as of now, Michael, you've got the pick for next week.
Yeah.
We'll see here. Last one. Rockin' Red Lobster's local DJ wins eating competition at local seafood restaurant. Michael, you went false. Casey, you went true.
It just sounds like another like machination of your brain.
That is false.
So I was right on all 3. I've redeemed myself. I feel like I've been in a headline game slump for a bit.
You have been. So where are we going next week?
Garrett, when this podcast started, I had in mind what I thought the perfect 5 restaurant would be, and we have not gone there yet. I'm saving it. But you also had a place that you thought would be the most mediocre place. And you know what? It's episode 25. It's the 25th restaurant we've gone to, excluding our Patreon. So let's make it an occasion. Let's go to your neighborhood Applebee's.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Eating good.
Eating mediocre. Yeah, I haven't been to an Applebee's since maybe 4th grade.
Wow.
It's been a really long time. The only thing I remember is the Blondie, which I am definitely going to want to get.
These are my favorite casual dining French fries.
Oh, okay. Cool. I'm excited for that. Better than Islands?
Yes.
Okay. Sweet. Well, thanks for listening to the Fine Dining Podcast. Thanks, Casey, so much for joining us.
Thanks for putting up with us.
I had a great time.
Do you have anything that you want people to go check out or follow? Or
if you want to follow me on Instagram, as they all say and do today, it's Casey J. Adler Comedy. If you want to just go to my website, it's CaseyJAdler.com.
Yeah.
You can reach...
Or Casey Jadler.
You could Jadler at me.
Yeah.
You can contact me. You can email me. I also I'm excited to follow your podcast and find out which is the most mediocre restaurant in all of America. I believe Applebee's might give you a run for the money.
You think it has a case? The current leader is Waffle House at 5.06.
It feels off. It just feels wrong.
Well, it does. It is a little off for us.
It was a really weird experience.
We loved it.
The food was amazing. I didn't excellent food.
Yeah. Olive Garden's also close. Bob's
Olive
Big
Garden
Boy
should be close. I do feel Applebee's might be your winner.
Yeah? All right. Well, we didn't find it, but the search does in fact continue. Have a fine day.
The search continues.
I thought of some more drink ideas for Jackie Chan, and I didn't want to let him go to waste, so thanks for sticking around. Obviously, he did the tuxedo, which in and of itself is a cocktail, so that one doesn't need to be touched. There's a white rush hour. Get it? And then we go to the land of animation, the Lego Ninjago movie Rita. It's like a margarita, but with the Lego Ninjago movie in the name. And then, of course, finishing off strong with the Rumble in the Long Island iced tea. I don't know. This isn't my job. There should be more drinks named after Asians already. If you want more ideas, call me. I don't have a phone. You know that. But go to your local dojo and look for the man practicing roundhouse kicks on the cardboard cutout of George Clooney. He knows what he did. So come find me. Okay, bye.
The search continues. We still need the perfect 5. The search continues. Like and subscribe. The search continues. Our journey did not conclude. The mother effing search continues. Write us an iTunes review.
And hey, while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and make it 5 stars, huh? Come on.
Follow us on TikTok, the same on Instagram, all the socials at Fine Dining Podcast. We have a website, finediningpodcast.com. Buy our t-shirts, then put them on.
And don't forget, you can always suggest where we go next.
Okay, we're going to find it. Mediocrity. The search continues. See you next week.
Hurt my throat a little.
Have a fine day.